The Remand Project is a coaching and consulting firm specializing in personal and leadership development for adult Black males, seeking to break the vicious cycle of missed potential so that they themselves transform their personal lives, their sense of leadership to their families, and their legacies that they want to leave for business and culture. We destroy this cycle on two fronts. We confront both the institution and the individual. We address the institution because, according to the statistics, Black males are under assault and are targeted for extinction in ways that their white counterparts are not. We are over-incarcerated and under-educated. There are systems in place, political systems, media systems, and religious systems that serve as intentional, or some say unintentional, barriers to the Black male's advancement. As a result, we work to raise public awareness about issues confronting Black males, promote healthy and positive images about Black males, curate spaces to share information and resources about programs, services, and support for Black males, support knowledge creation and dissemination around these issues, and provide a forum for Black males to both speak and act for themselves. We address the individual Black male because we cannot avoid personal responsibility. We are now overmothered and underfathered. We make bad social choices, and we avoid responsibility for getting ourselves out from under the social plight that we face. We will develop the moral compass and character necessary to face the adverse realities that are faced in everyday life. We live by the premise that even that which is not our fault is still our responsibility. In 2019, we answered the call to transform the culture one man at a time. Our society, our families, and men in particular, are in a state of crisis. And the goal of the Remand Project is to curate the largest, strongest, and dopest community of Black males in the entire world. We then create awareness and action against the institutional and individual impediments that exist against the foundation of our culture and overall society, which is the Black male. Which is the Black male. What in the hell is Leroy doing there? Sometimes I feel like he's falling, he can't get up, or something of that nature.
I ain't had my red cup this morning.
They tell me you're not drinking anymore. You rolling. You rolling.
I don't know what that means.
You rolling. You know how they used to do it, and they pour the little stuff on the album cover, and then they would just kind of roll it around just to get the seeds out.
Okay.
Right, and then they would take the little top paper. You don't know nothing about that, Leroy?
No, I don't know nothing about no top paper.
You don't know nothing about no top paper?
What's top paper?
Top paper is what they used to use to roll weed in. You taught me that. Now you don't want to be honest. Good afternoon, Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. Thank you all for hanging out with us. I'm Donald Morton, Chief Visionary Officer of Remand, host of the Grown Man Podcast, creator of the Character Arc. I've got a whole lot of titles. Most importantly, I'm doing the work, though. There are a lot of people out there with titles that ain't doing no work.
You better say that again.
I'm actually doing the work. Leroy says, "Good morning, Remand Grown Folk Podcast family." That's a mouthful. Good morning. First of all, it's afternoon. And
Yeah.
but he's been drinking. It's okay. He's been drinking.
I've been drinking. Ain't that what
He,
Beyonce said? I've been drinking.
he's been drinking. It's absolutely okay. So it should say good afternoon, Reman, Grown Man, Podcast, Family. Uh, and I guess there's others that have been drinking. Keith Lewis says, "Good morning, my good brothers." It is afternoon, Keith Lewis. It is afternoon, Keith Lewis. Let's see. Keith is now.
Hey,
Is Keith in New? I think he's in New York now, so it should be afternoon where he is as well. But in the event it's not, in the event he's not, I'll give him a little leeway because he may be in a different part of the country where it's still morning. But for Leroy McKenzie Jr., it is afternoon. He is in Baltimore, Maryland,
yes, sir.
or surrounding areas. He don't really pinpoint exactly where he is. Keith said it's been a long morning. Is that long morning, bro? Because you are hungover? You and Jade hungover? Let us know. We're interested. Let us know
Wait,
what exactly
wait,
has
Charles.
been happening. And we interested. Some people will call it nosy. We're not nosy. That really isn't a masculine term. So we're not nosy. Leroy, what would it be in masculine terms? We're not.
See, yo, man, I got this thing, and I'm just like, okay, and I don't know, I don't know, I don't think that, I just don't think words. This is just me. It's not you, and
Yeah,
I know we'll
yeah,
disagree on this.
yeah,
That
yeah.
there are these masculine and feminine terms. I don't think that we can be defined because there are. What's the word you just used? You said
Nosy.
uh, nosy. Nosy, you got men that are nosy and you got women that are nosy. How can it be a masculine or feminine term when you have people,
Mhm.
both types of people that are nosy? They
Yeah,
just
well,
nosy.
we disagree, but it's okay. That's that's
Right,
that's that's the brilliance of the Grown Man Podcast, right? I
right,
think
right.
words do mean something, and I do think that there are words that are traditionally ascribed to men in very different ways that there are words that are ascribed to women. I think
But that's
that,
society.
yeah,
You
yeah.
let society describe you.
No, I don't think that I don't think that that is necessarily a societal issue. We talk all the time in Remand about honor language. Honor language is a masculine language. It is a language that is traditionally embraced by men. That
And when what you mean
Yeah.
by tradition? Tradition means society, right?
No, tradition doesn't mean the word primal. So when we start talking about what is a matter of being primal, right? There are traditional roles that are primal roles ascribed to men, and then there are roles that are ascribed to women. I mean that just kind of is yeah, Lala said it. I'm curious for knowledge. Not nosy. I'm curious. I'm
I
curious.
like that.
I'm
I
curious.
like
I'm
that. I
curious for
like that.
knowledge. Yeah.
I'm
Um,
not cheap. I'm economically conscious. I'm
I'm
saying.
economically conscious. Yes, I'm not cheap. I'm economically conscious. Let's see. Dwight says, "Good afternoon, Kings. Good afternoon, my guy. Good to see you." Uh, Keith is satisfying our curiosity. He says, "The wife and I took the boys on their trips, and those 4 days off messed me up at work. Over
Mm.
here, about to mess up people's money by not getting payroll approved in time." Listen,
Yeah, bro. Don't be messing with Big Perm. Don't be messing with Big Perm.
Keith,
Messing with people's money.
Keith said, I don't been on a vacation with the kids." And there's a
Mhm.
song, Leroy. You don't know nothing about this, but there's a song back in the day. Your body's here with me,
Yeah.
but your mind is on the other
On
side.
the other side of town. You
So
messing me around. Don't be messing with my money, Keith. Don't be messing with my money, man.
yeah. Keith said,
Somebody
don't
gonna
mess
roll up in
don't
your
mess with
office like Ice Cube rolled up in that Interscope office and just messed up everything. Give me my money. They got a reel out here. I don't know if you saw it on TikTok where different people are doing "Give Me My Money." Everybody does like a different kind of voice or whatever,
okay.
and everybody's clapping for for certain people, and then they don't clap for other ones, and they like "Give me my money."
Give, give me my give me my money. Dwight
Run me my money.
Marla said, let my brother Keith focus. Keith responds by saying, so this is me taking a break from all the mess and listening to positivity. That's right. The Grown Man podcast has come with the positivity.
Yes, sir.
This is what we do. And
Oh, yeah.
very, very exciting time to do it. Dwight Robinson said that's the OJs. What y'all know about the OJs? If you don't know about the OJs, get the hell off my
You are
podcast.
you are too young to
You are
be on
too
this
young to be
podcast,
here. You ain't grown yet. You
and
ain't
we
grown
don't
yet.
like you.
If you don't know the OJs, you ain't grown yet. You still your breath smell like Similac.
Similar like ain't they what they told you back in the day? Oh, go on, boy. You don't know nothing about that. You still got that Similac on your lips.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. So Leroy, you and I saw each other yesterday because we always host the Braveheart Bible study on Sundays at 12 o'clock noon. So I think for the first part of today's podcast, man, let's just acknowledge in the same way that we did, um, for the Republican National Convention. Today
Mm.
starts the
Yeah. Oh, is it
Democratic.
today? Okay.
It
I
starts
thought
today,
it was
yes, sir.
today. Oh, okay. I thought it was tomorrow. I thought it started Monday. Okay,
No,
gotcha.
sir.
Gotcha.
Yeah, today's Monday.
Oh, don't. Where's my brain, bro?
Yo, I told y'all that boy smoking now. He's smoking. He's smoking. I promise you, this boy is smoking.
I'm thinking today was Sunday.
Yo, he's smoking. He's smoking. He's
I
smoking.
got some of
For,
that.
for
Ooh
those
wee.
thought that's about to come from my boy, he's smoking. It's legal now. It's legal. So the boy can smoke. He's always wanted to smoke.
I was I was watching it was a clip from the movie Get On Up about James Brown,
Yeah.
and it was the portion where he calls up Bootsy Collins.
Okay.
So he hires Bootsy, and I guess they're getting ready to go perform, and they backstage, and he must have smelled weed on him, right? And James said, "I don't care what you do in your, in your off time and everything like that." He said, "But we got to stay focused." And so one of the guys go, "But we ain't smoked nothing, Mr. Brown," because they had to call him Mr. Brown. He said, "I don't care." If he said, if you're around it, then you smoking it. He said, "If you smell like it, you smoking it." I was like, James, and he was like, "They gave me $40." And all of them had to pay a fine. I was like, James didn't play. Mr. Brown didn't play.
Oh my God, bruh. This is Leroy has been smoking. I don't know how many times I told him that today is Monday. I said that we met just 30 seconds before he
I
said
know, did you? You
I
did just say that, did you?
yeah. This is what I have to deal with. This is what I have to deal with on the daily, dealing with Leroy McKenzie Jr. He is my brother, but he is high on most days. Dwight said it's a duh moment. Like duh. Coach said, "Where is the pink cup?" Yeah. Yeah, where's the pink cup? So I'm having conversations with everybody. I'm watching you on Instagram. I'm watching you on inside our Facebook community. The reason why our Facebook community, your comments can't be shown is because we have it's a private community in our Facebook community. And so but I'm watching the brothers comment, have conversations with us over there. And then also inside our Instagram group. Good to see you, Jermaine, Mignon, Bronx baby. What's up, sis? My brown cup of tea. Good, good to see y'all. Oh, we know we can come up with some names, Leroy.
I know, brother.
We come up with
One
some
thing we
names.
gonna do, we gonna come up with some names.
We gonna come up with some names.
Peanut,
What's your daughter's name? Hennessy. my, daughter, my daughter's name
Mercedes, Mercedes,
Mercedes.
Bentley.
What's your son's name? Bentley, Chevrolet.
No,
Yeah, we gonna come up with
Gucci.
who? Did you say coochie?
No, Gucci.
Oh boy, I said,
Gucci.
oh, the
No,
grown man podcast gonna shut down. Leroy done say
no,
coochie on the grown man podcast.
Gucci.
Yeah, you gotta speak clearly, bro, because you know I'm trying to get you caught up one day with saying something just off what you normally.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
That's the first and middle name. Yes,
I know,
Abercrombie
right?
and Fitch Johnson.
You know,
Yeah, yeah. So good afternoon to y'all. Leroy, what do you expect coming out of the Democratic National Convention? I know that you're a Democrat, you're a registered Democrat. I'm a registered independent. Um, what do you expect to come out of the convention, man? It looks like it's gonna be exciting to witness.
and
Yeah,
that's a good question, man. Because here's I'll say what I expect and then what I think will have actually happen. Because you know how
yes,
you got a forecast and then you got for a budget. You got a forecast and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
what actually
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
this is. What I expect is like you said, excitement, enthusiasm. I think there will be some answers to some agenda, questions
Yeah,
that people have. Um, I think, my opinion, bro. I think a lot of it is cotton candy, and that's
yeah,
Republican
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Democrat. I
yeah,
think a
yeah,
lot of it is just cotton
yeah,
candy. It's a bunch of fluff, and it's no substance. We talk
yeah,
about this all the time.
yeah.
They joining they joining the cotton candy podcast this week. 4 blocks down,
Yes,
make a left and look for the green on it. That's where they're
yes,
gonna be this
yes,
week. You know what
yes,
I'm saying? So, but those are things that do I think will it have some substance? Yeah, it will. Will it have enough? That's the question to me.
that's a fair
Am I expecting enough? No.
that's
Am
a
I
fair
expecting to get, especially when it comes to us, when we talk about this remand black man agenda?
yes,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, I can say now there may be some things that are addressed because it's an overall agenda that I think will be addressed because of us. But I think those things that are a part of the fabric of what we talk about. My expectation is to not have an expectation of it. That
yeah.
way,
You
I
don't
just
get
don't have
disappointed.
to.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
get
you
disappointed.
know.
But this is one of the
Um,
reasons why I respect you, right? One of the reasons why I respect you is you hold very strong convictions in some things, but are also very honest and objective with things like this, right? And being able to say, Yeah, Donald, I don't really expect a whole lot." You know what I'm saying? And this is again the reason why I respect you is because you are saying that as a registered Democrat and going into the Democratic convention, right?
yeah.
Yeah, honesty and truth is honesty and truth, regardless of where you stand politically. So I really, really appreciate. Um, it's got some great. I do think that it is a united convention. That although
Yeah,
there are some
yeah,
protesters out there,
Right. Right.
talking about Palestine, and there are
Right.
some protesters out there that are saying, "Hey, we don't believe that that making Kamala Harris the nominee went through a fair process. Like there
Right.
are outliers,
Right.
but when I see the lineup of speakers,
Hmm.
former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former President Bill Clinton,
Hmm.
Barack Hussein Obama, Michelle Obama, right? Nancy Pelosi. Um, yeah, bro, that's a pretty united convention.
Yeah.
President Joseph R. Biden, Robin Biden, right? He is
Yeah.
speaking tonight,
Yeah. He
and they
leads it
are
off.
giving him
He's
his
leading it off.
flowers to say, "Hey, man, job well done.
Yeah.
Appreciate you putting party over politics." Because he could have said, "Man, if all y'all, I'm a
He could have
ride
made it.
this until the
He
wheels
could have
fall
made it
off."
very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
could have made it real difficult.
Yeah, and
And
no one could have blamed him. I mean, no one could have
right.
blamed him if he
Because
decided to do that. No one could have blamed him.
I was one of the ones, to be honest with you, was like, no, don't go nowhere,
Yeah,
dude. Run this out. I was right there with him.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
ready to
yeah,
ride. I was ready to ride with him.
yeah, yeah, for
You know,
sure,
I truly was. You
for
know,
sure.
and I just, the way that I was thinking was, okay, if he does decide to step aside, who are they willing to be able to get behind in this short period of
Yeah,
time
yeah,
and be
yeah.
able to galvanize and do the things that, and they've done it. They proved me wrong. I'll
They
admittedly say that.
they've done it in a marvelous way. They
Yeah,
really have
in an
stepped in and
excellent way.
stepped behind that sister.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this, man, and then we'll get into what we want to
Okay.
talk about today. I've been trying to find words to describe what I believe the country needs and why she
Uh.
is so important to
Mm,
this moment, right? Um, and I originally, Leroy, just kind of described it. Glenn Pennington, good to see you, man. Thank you for watching. I originally described it like the country, and y'all just hear me when I say it because I couldn't find the words, but I almost believe that the country needed a hug. Like
I like that. That's a
it
good
needed,
analogy. I
you know
like
what
that,
I'm saying?
bro.
Like it
I
needed,
like that.
the
Mm,
country needed a hug. It
yeah.
didn't just need policy, and
Mm,
it needs policy, right? I'm a
mm,
policy guy. It needs policy. Those of you that have been following us know that I have been calling for policy, right?
mm.
Particularly policy that impacts Black men. Um, but the country needed a hug. I heard it today said a bit differently that I think
Okay.
is a little closer to what I'm feeling, Leroy. And that is, what's the sister? She was Wonder Woman, what's
Linda
Linda?
Carter. Linda
Linda
Carter.
Carter. So she
Yeah.
was on CNN, and here's
Okay.
what she said. She said the reason why Kamala Harris is so important to this moment is the country is depressed.
Mm.
It's depressed.
Wow, that's
And
deep.
it
That's
is.
deep.
It
Mm.
is. We talk about mental health as
Yeah.
individuals, but we often don't talk about mental health as a collective. The
Yeah.
country
For real.
is
For real.
depressed. What do you feel about what she said? Because I agree with
Wow.
her.
Yeah. No, that is, and I never thought of it from that perspective of thinking that the country, this country is sick.
Yes. Yes.
This country is, like you said, it is in a mental health crisis, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes,
You know what
bro.
I'm saying? It
Yes.
is in a mental health crisis,
Yes.
and we do, like you said, yeah. You need a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You need a hug because people just
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah.
You need a hug.
Angry, right.
I just, and just to be embraced, just that this country, we it needs to embrace itself. It needs a show of affection, positive
Yeah.
affection,
Yes, bro.
you know, and showing that someone cares. And,
Yes.
it, and that's, I mean, man, that is so on point. I like
Yeah.
that that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that we as a country are in a state of depression,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's true,
Yeah.
and
And
it's
you
got to
can't
be
solve
treated.
that with policy. You can't
Yeah,
solve
you're
that with
right.
policy,
Ooh, no, you
right?
can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No.
So now I understand. After she said that, now I understand how the choice of walls and him saying, we just try and bring some joy back to this process, right?
Yeah.
The country needs some joy. Like it needs to laugh again. And that's what Linda Carter was saying. They were asking her, what would you say uh, to Donald Trump, who continues to
Mhm.
kind of diabolically, right? Um, attack Kamala Harris on her laugh and stuff like that. She said, "What would you tell?" He said, "What would you tell Kamala Harris?" She said, tell her to laugh at him. Just keep laughing, because the fact that we have a presidential candidate, for those of you, again, taking it away from policy, right? Because I don't agree with a great majority of the policy of the Democratic Party. I just don't.
Really?
I
Okay.
don't. I'm more of a centrist,
The
and
but I
I'm
mean, but
more
the majority
center
of it
right.
though.
Say it again.
I said, but the majority. You don't agree with the majority of it? Hmm.
Particularly on social issues, Leroy. Right.
Okay.
So I'm a fiscal conservative. Right. I don't believe in running up a boatload of debt. I am a small government conservative. I don't want the government in my business. I particularly don't want the government teaching things to my children that I should be teaching my children at home, right? I have challenges with some of the literature that is being put out there for our children to read. I think that there are some conversations that are sacred between me and my kids. I have a challenge with the current state of public education, right? So there are some, and I have some fundamental issues biblically with the LGBTQIA plus stuff, right? So those are the reasons that make me center right. So I'm center right. Um, but I also know that there are some things that are really, really important to me that I would be absolutely hypocritical not to honor, like healthcare for all saved my life. Now, 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 the fact that I was able to get health care, and the moment that I got health care, I was diagnosed with cancer, that saved my life. I would be, and I know that on the right, the Republican Party is doing its best to dismantle health care for all, right? So those there are some things that I have some fundamental challenges with. But what brings me to the place where I'm able to just really honor my commitment to Kamala Harris is because we need a leader, bro. We need a
Hmm.
leader
Yeah.
beyond policy, right? The scripture
Hmm.
says it this way, and we don't want to make this about Bible study. We did that yesterday. Right? But the scripture says the letter kills, the spirit brings life. So you can have all of the policies in the world, but for a country that doesn't need more rules as much as it needs a hug, like it needs someone to tell, like my mom used to do for me. My mom used to just, I put my head in her lap when shit wasn't functioning right. And she'd like, baby, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Or I would just go see her and break down crying. It's just like, son, what's wrong? Baby, what's wrong? And then I knew
Ain't
she
nothing.
cared when she said, Buddy, what's wrong? That was my nickname, right? Buddy, what's wrong? And she would just minister to me. Not, but my mom was a hardcore rule person.
Mhm.
Everything was in order in her life. But when I needed that soft, gentle touch, bruh,
Wow.
right? It wasn't about the rules. It was about me needing someone just to sit with me while I figure the shit out, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so I think the country is at this place where yes, we've got to solve the border stuff because you can't just come through here all willy
Well, see,
nilly.
No, we get that, and then we're not trying to make this a political thing too, because we got to get
Yeah.
into our topic. But everybody that I've heard talk about the issue with the border, I've heard no solution. I've heard no
Correct.
plausible solution
Well,
to
the
it. I ain't
Democrats
heard
have
nobody
said
give me
this.
no plausible
The
solution.
Democrats have said this, and I agree with the Democrats on this. That there has to be, I don't think anyone has a problem with immigration. I think people have a problem with illegal immigration, right?
Correct.
That there should be a pathway to citizenship. I agree with that.
Correct.
Oh, I agree with that, right?
Well, there.
Those that are contributing to our economy, contributing to the well-being of our country, like to just kind of say, hey man, y'all go back to where you came from because you didn't come like I, but I also understand that you just like you have to have rules, you have to have laws. You just can't do whatever you want to do because your country ain't for you. We know America's great, but you got to do it the right way. So I think that there
Correct.
has to be some pathway for people to be able to come here and go through our process and become rightful citizens in this country.
Co- But correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a process, but even the process is log jammed. It needs to
Yeah,
be, I guess, upgraded
yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
tweaked, whatever you want to call it, in
Sure,
order to be able to be efficient, more efficient
for
than what
sure.
it is. Because to me, I believe that there is that pathway, like you said, the pathway to citizenship is
Yes,
just not efficient enough to accommodate in this day and time.
yes,
You know,
yes,
so
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
just, yeah, like you, that definitely it needs to be addressed, but
yes,
I'm not hearing people say how it can be addressed, how it should be addressed, or what can be done to make it better. You know
yeah.
what I'm
And
saying?
and and that again is a part of the double talk, right? That you
Right.
so eloquently talked about a moment ago, that cotton candy shit,
Yeah.
we all gonna dance for you during the convention. We ain't gonna do nothing after this convention,
Right.
but we gonna dance for you. And those of us that were I was, I like President Barack Obama. I didn't like a lot of his policies, but he definitely he sent back more people than most presidents.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Right?
That
Yeah.
was
So
that's what they said. Yeah.
he gonna send you home. That's what they do. Somebody come over your house. When I was growing up, somebody come over my house, and my mom said, "Young man, do you have a home?" My mom was saying, "You got to go. Like we get ready to eat. You got to go, right?" So I'm hoping that we find some means of being able to
Yeah.
address these different conflicts that are
Yeah.
happening in our
And
country.
see, and see, that's what I talk about when you ask me the question about what are my expectations. Do I
Yes,
expect
sir.
them to come out with to address that as an agenda? I did to come out. With our conversation, what's the objective
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
what are the
yeah,
results you want?
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
me, they may have an objective coming into this convention, but the results that we're going to see is it going to be results in an agenda. Here's what we're going to do to address this. Here's what we're going to do to address this. Here's what we're going to do to address this. Maybe they want to, and I don't. I'm a believer in you don't tell all your business because it's because you got to keep a
Yes.
strategy, so you don't want
Yes.
everybody knowing your strategy. You get
Yes.
that, but you can give some bullet points or some overview of it without giving the full strategy or plan and everything like that, so that
Yeah.
people know that there's some substance to what you're saying, and it's not like you were just saying where we're double talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
Yeah. For
as
sure.
the Indians say, speaking with forked tongue. You know what I'm
For sure.
saying?
La 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 la. My wife is Native American, so she might have something to say. She might think you racist, Leroy. You on here talking about speaking with a forked tongue. I bet you also believe that Washington should have kept the Redskins. The-
Hey,
I think they should have
hey,
kept the Redskins.
I do too. I agree with you. I agree with you there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that offends people. I just thought that they. I mean, I don't. I mean, that's just like I say. I mean, we could go into that, but that's just like what's it, Florida State, the
Seminoles. Is it Seminoles?
Seminoles.
Yeah.
Then what do you do about that?
Right.
What do you do about that? Well, I'm offended because now take the Buffalo off of Colorado, the University of Colorado, take it off of the Buffalo Bill. That offends me. So you know what I'm
Now
saying?
that's something that I think we have become, and then I want to get away from this, right? Because
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot that we got to deal with. I do
yeah,
think
yeah,
we've become an overly sensitive country.
yeah,
Like you can't say nothing anymore
yeah,
without someone saying, "Hey, offended."
yeah,
I was listening
yeah.
to a book today, Think and Grow Rich, right?
Okay,
And
the original one
the
or
original,
the
the
Okay,
original
okay,
one, right? Not Dennis Kimbrough.
Gummy Bros.
Think and
Okay,
Grow Rich, the original one. And boy, I was on my walk while I was listening to it,
okay.
Leroy. And that narrator said, "Colored child." What the right?
You ready to hurt somebody on your walk?
Napoleon Hill, yes, sir, Coach. Napoleon
Yeah,
Hill. Yo, Kimbrough is excellent. I've got I've got both of his, and then I've got this one as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Leroy,
They were
that
all
dude
good.
said colored, and I was ready to
I know.
fight the next white person I saw. Somebody was
So
gonna get stole.
somebody was gonna get it.
They have
Somebody was
no
gonna
idea
catch it.
why. I just walked down, boom, put him to sleep, and keep on,
Yep.
keep on. Nah,
No
coach, we can't do
words.
that. This one, man. We are almost out of time, bro. So maybe the next one. Um, so so Leroy, a part of what I wanted to talk about today is the courage of confrontation, right?
Woo. Okay.
The courage that it takes to confront. And it became near and dear to me today because one of the things that I just absolutely adore about my wife is her courage to confront.
Mhm.
Like we have a really healthy marriage in that. Do we have challenges? Yeah. We get on each other's nerves often, right? You and I get on each other's nerves often. I think, Leroy, I guess I'm the common denominator. I'm the common
And
denominator.
see what they say. If they say what they say, if you find yourself in
Yo, I'm the common
all the
denominator,
situations and
bro.
relationships and all of
Oh
it's
my
like
God. Yeah, yeah.
what's the common
It's,
denominator in
it's,
all of
it's, it's me.
it?
But 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 this morning, just to kind of let you guys a bit in our house, and I don't have to tell you guys what we talked about, right? But this morning I came in from my walk, and she's normally upstairs when I come in from my walk, and she was down on the love seat. And she said, "How you feel?" I said, "Man, that walk, that walk is good." She said, "I'd like to talk with you." I said, "Okay, yeah, sure." And she's like, "But you look tired," because I was out of breath. I run the last half of my time, right? So I was
Okay, okay,
and sweating. She said, "Why don't you go get a shower?" I was like, "No, I like sweating because it makes me feel like I've done something. It makes me feel like I've actually worked out, right?" So she said, "Hard conversation." I said, "Okay, hard conversation." And we had an an incredibly difficult and hard conversation, right?
hmm
But this is what I encourage brothers to do, and I want to tell you, Leroy, how sometimes I have not been as courageous about conversations, right? So she was courageous enough to come to me and say A, B, and C, right? And then she asked me a question. She said, "Have you been courageous in confronting me about anything that is challenging with you?" And I said to her, I said, "No, I've been a coward."
Mm.
I've been a coward. And I've been a coward because the things that oftentimes I want to share, when you love someone and you really care for someone, you want to do your best to keep from hurting that person, right? Even when that what you want to share has some validity to it, it has some substance to it, you still don't want to, you don't want to hurt. And so one of the things, I think it was Kitty Rose, bro. One of the things that Kitty Rose, I think, said was confrontation is the answer or antidote for any person that has abandonment issues. And I was listening to her, right? And she said it this way, Leroy. She said, because people that are afraid to confront, and I want to know from our audience whether or not you guys agree, right? People that are afraid to confront and instead of confronting create distance makes it feel like abandonment to the person that you're with, because it's almost like you're disconnecting, right? Confrontation, even though it can be very difficult, even though it can be very hard, confrontation creates intimacy, because at the very least, what it says is, I'm still here fighting. I'm trying to figure this shit out, but I'm still here fighting, right? When you have, I have had traumatic experiences when confronting. And what I have chosen to do is, the first thing I do, which is a very healthy practice, by the way. Look at what Nodella said. She said spot on, right? She hit the arrow on the bullseye. What I have found that works for me and is a very healthy practice, because I used to just pop off. Like I've never had a problem with confronting. The way I would confront, though, is I would pop off. I'm a slam doors. I'm a yell. I'm a scream. I'm a argue. I'm a punch holes in walls. That is the way that I used to deal with it. Now, Leroy will understand this. Dwight will understand this. Coach will understand this. Now I face that arc. So when my wife said to me, "Hey, babe, what is it? Why not confront me with the things that you are feeling?" I said, "Babe, because my first responsibility is to face that arc." And I said, "I know that the arc may be some sense of novelty for you, but for me, it's a very real process." She said, "No." She said, "No, that thing ain't no novelty." Like that she said, I've had to face it too. She is the only woman that knows it. My wife is the only woman that knows it, right? So I really want to talk through, bruh, and we'll probably talk to about 1:15, because I want to get your thoughts on this. The real courage to confront, and not looking at confrontation in this negative way, right?
What?
Confrontation is incredibly healthy when done appropriately, and when done, this is the Grown Man Podcast, right? This is the Grown Man Podcast, where we endeavor to show up in a way that is grown. I mean, we grown men here. Let's see. Nodella says, I had to learn to confront in a better way, or else it won't end well. So I step back, I give careful thought, and then I have the conversation. So it's the same thing with me, Nodella, right? Great point. So when I'm dissatisfied about something, or I'm angry about something, or I don't understand something, I'm going to retreat for a moment, and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to face that arc. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, bruh, how much of this is you? And how much of this are you attempting to levy on her, making her responsible for some shit that you got going on? Right. And what I've discovered is, many times, not all the time, but many times, what is happening is some shit I got going on. Right. But I still, even though after I figure out it's some shit I got going on, I still have to be willing to confront my wife or talk to my wife so that she's included in what I'm feeling and going through and thinking, right? She's my wife. That girl is my best friend in the world. She just is. She's my best friend in the world. And so confrontation requires a degree of courage that not a lot of people have the ability to be able to muster in order to deal with this kind of thing. So that's my opening, Leroy. I'm throwing it to you, man.
No, but I think when it comes to confrontation, like you were saying, I think that most people, and I'm talking way majority of the people, do not like confrontation.
Yes.
They don't.
Yes.
We don't. Whether it's in our business life or whether it's in our personal lives, we just
Yes.
don't like it. Why? Because, like you said, it requires us to be able to. We should have intelligent conversation about what is bothering us.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they don't know how to do that,
Yes.
or they don't want to do it because of, like you mentioned, they're afraid of the results that may come from that
Yes.
confrontation. They don't want the results. I
Yes.
think, and you can, I don't know if you tell me, because most people don't like what the results could be from
Yes.
that confrontation.
Yes. 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 And let
So
me
I
let me
would.
say this before you go further, man, because I do want to talk about that, right? As I'm talking it through with Lala and very calm. I was proud of me. I was proud of her. I was proud of our marriage because we are committed to dealing with the hardship. We're just committed to doing it. And I would ask a question or I would say a statement, and she said, "Hey, babe, you're making some assumptions. You're making some assumptions, and I need you to step back from the assumptions." I said, "Well, I'm attempting to ask the questions, and perhaps they are laced with assumptions, but I'm genuinely trying to understand like what's going on and how I can deal with it myself and how the marriage can be better, right? Like that, like that's our goal." And you can never get to that place without confrontation. And confrontation can be done in such a loving, empathetic, raw and real way. It doesn't require elevated voices. It requires a level of emotional maturity, right? That many brothers don't have and many women don't have. This is the Grown Man Podcast, though, y'all. So I'm going to be heavy-handed with brothers. I'm not on here talking about sisters. I'm on here talking about brothers, and I'm saying that in order for you to get your point across, you don't have to yell, you ain't got to scream, you ain't got to swell. Like you're going to have a level of emotional maturity that keeps you calm, that you can lead the conversation in a way that it is productive. So Nodella says, but we've been taught that it's a bad thing, like Don said. We've been taught the word confrontation or confront is triggering. Right. So for a lot of people, you hear, well, I don't like the word. You ain't got to like the word. Whatever you want to call it, be willing. If I can't confront the woman I love, if the woman I love can't confront me in the way that she did today, her gait was solid. She was just kind of laying back on the love seat. Her position wasn't intimidating. She wasn't rah rah like you doing. It wasn't any of that. It was just a real soft, hey babe, I'd like to talk to you, and it's going to be a hard conversation. Yes, that's what I've been looking for in my life, right? Something because growth is my love language, right? I got to see growth, and I saw. So Nodella says, soon I need to send you an offering. Let the Lord use you. Nodella said, Don, I need to send you an offering. Let the Lord use you. Yes. Send it to Remain. Send it to Remain. You can Cash App it. You can, uh, yeah, uh, send it to Remand, Cash App it, or PayPal it. Any way you want to support it. Thank you so much, Nadella. Thank you so much, Leroy. What'd you say, man?
No, it's we just really do, and like you said, the word confrontation has a negative connotation to it,
Mhm.
but I truly believe that we as men have to understand that you can confront something without having to be, confronted with emotional intelligence, and have this be able to have the conversation, have a dialogue, address an issue, and not have to get loud about it, not have to get
Absolutely,
bent
bro.
out of shape because of the response that you get. There's a manner in which you can handle it.
Absolutely, bro.
but but what I think what the arc does and has done for me, I
Yes, sir.
believe what you say, what it's done for you, what it's done for Dwight, what it's done for Coach, what it's done for others who are part of Remain, it gives you the ability to be able to confront
Absolutely.
confrontations. Because
Absolutely,
you
bro.
because you and I talk about it all the time. That arc is a bear. And trying to trying to, yeah, you think you big and bad because you talking to your wife or your
Yeah.
spouse or whatever. Yeah, go face that bear. Go face that off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
let me
Absolutely.
see you talk bad. Let me see you talk bad to the
Absolutely.
bad,
Absolutely.
to that arc, because that
Absolutely.
arc is gonna let you know. It is going to give you the tools that you need in order to be able to confront what you need to confront, because it's going to tell you the truth. If you really confront it and do what you're supposed to do with addressing the art, it will give you the ability to be able to address it. Dude, I've been fighting too. that
Yep.
that art, it'll be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just like, man.
Because it's going to show you you, right? It's
Right.
going to show you you. It's not going to allow you to put blame on anyone. It just won't allow you to do it. When you face that, what did you call it? The bear. When you face
The
that
bear,
bear,
yeah.
when you face that bear, like you in the fight of your life. And you either lay down and don't fight, or you fight and you attempt to master it. Lala says we were taught to believe you want to square up when we hear the term. Right. That's true. We were taught to believe that when they hear the word confrontation, you want to square up.
hmm hmm
Like what we
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah,
right?
what we doing? Right. You automatically
Yeah,
get into your defensive posture
yeah,
to
yeah,
defend yourself.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. That's
And
that's
I
very
want
true.
to I want you to talk a bit more about that in a moment too, Leroy. This defensive posture, because in
hmm
order for us to really confront, you're gonna have to lay that down.
hmm
Nodella says this. She says, "I don't know who creates the words we use in English because many of them do not have the same meaning when used in another language or don't have the negative connotation." Right. So to your point, Nodella, my wife says, when we hear confrontation, so what you want to do? Like I'm from the hood.
Hey,
I'm from the I'm
hey,
from 10th Street. I'm from the hood, right?
gee, you from
Yeah,
a whole Delaware. You from a
yeah,
whole
yeah. But
Delaware.
Delaware got hood. Delaware got hood places. I'm from the place. I'm from the hood, right? So when you somebody say, I need to confront you about what?
Yeah,
What we doing? like,
right. What's up? What's
like,
up?
yeah, like. Look. Nodella said, "Bronx, baby."
Ah, yeah,
Coach says something that I really want to address because I think his point is valid, but I want to address it. He said, "But why are the feelings a requirement for courage? Why are the actual facts not the basis for the confrontation? In fact, I would say that feelings often derail confrontation. And here's the truth. The
Mhm.
truth is feelings are always a part of the process, whether you choose to acknowledge them or not.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
They're part
Yeah.
of the process. right?
Yeah.
So the goal is not to act like the feelings don't exist. The goal is to become emotionally mature, right? And investigate the feelings. A part of what brought Lala and I to the place that we are in right now is the fact that we investigate feelings. We're very honest about the way we feel, right? Because and let me coach y'all for a moment. Thoughts determine feelings. Feelings create a belief, whether that belief is right or wrong. It creates a belief. And your belief is what creates your actions. So if I want a different action, I got to reframe my belief. And I can't reframe my belief until I reframe how I feel and investigate how I feel and invest and reframe how I'm thinking. That is the process subconsciously that every person goes through, whether you acknowledge you go through it or not. So the
Give
goal
it to
is
them
not
again.
to create this sense that you are forbidden to feel. The goal is to make sure that you honor your feelings, you respect them, you investigate them, and you try to find out whether or not they're valid. Being able to validate those feelings. I understand how you feel. Like I will tell my wife if I'm afraid of something, I will tell her I'm afraid. I was able to tell her today, hey, the feeling I have about this comes from this. Because the ability to understand that whatever you're acting on, the ancestor to your action is your belief. And the ancestor to your belief is your feelings. And the ancestors to your feelings is your thoughts. So if you don't honor that process, then you are missing the fact. You think that all I got to do is deny my feelings. That shit don't work. It doesn't work. What happens is it is an emotionally immature person that won't honor his feelings. Honor your feelings, respect them, but don't let them, to coach's point, I'm not going to let them drive. Like I'm going to investigate them enough so I can say, okay, is this serving the belief that's necessary for me to act in the way that I really need to act? Right. And so, um, let's see. Wifey says the word has a Latin origin, con with front, face. Let's face the issue with one another. That's all the word means. Con, with, front, face. Let's face the issue together. Like my wife is not my enemy. I am not my wife's enemy. We face the issue at hand. Confront, with, face it with. Right. But check out its origin, Latin, not English. So in English language, there's what I call an etymological evolution, right? Which means that a word becomes something that it was never intended to be, but we allow it just to evolve. This word simply means let's confront it together. Let's confront the issue together. Thank you for that, babe. That's just so powerful. Confrontation is let's confront it together. But you got to put it out on the table. You got to put it out on the table. And there are many men who don't have the emotional intelligence to confront the issue. You make the issue your wife, and your wife ain't the issue. So when I face that arc, I'm facing it myself. Go ahead, Leroy. Turn it over to you, man. Let me sit here and listen to the wisdom of the sage of us all, the oldest of us all, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr.
No, I just I think when we have this true understanding of confrontation, and hopefully, those that are listening today, you get a new narrative of thinking about confrontation. an understanding of it. That no, it's not a negative thing, and it's not something that we have to get into that defensive posture in it. Because here in Remain again, we teach you how to have those confrontations, but to go through the thinking process that Donald just talked about. What are you thinking? That's the first thing that you got to. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I believing?
Absolutely.
And the actions. Or if you want to reverse engineer it, okay, here were my actions.
Absolutely, Leroy.
What belief did I have?
Absolutely, Leroy.
What feelings caused the belief that I had? And then what thought did I have that triggered it all?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when we, man, when we, bruh, and that's why I told you, I swear, y'all, I swear I'm not trying to make his head any bigger than it already is. I'm not. But this is what makes the arc so genius and such because this way of thinking, I've not seen it anywhere else. Nobody takes you through this process. Maybe psychologists can or whatever. I don't know, but I've never seen this way of addressing confrontation
Absolutely.
before. I've
Absolutely.
not.
Absolutely.
I've not seen it. And so when you equip people with the tools that they need in order to be able to make them better, these are the results that you get where you're able to one face. You got to face yourself first. You said it. You got to
Absolutely.
face yourself first, and that's facing the art. Then it gives you the ability to be able to go and face whoever it is or whatever it is that you have to confront or that you might have been hesitant to confront. Now you can confront it because you know the thoughts, feelings, beliefs that
Yes.
cause the action that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It is. This is. I mean, this is such a methodical and like you said, emotionally intelligent way of addressing issues. Whatever the
Mm.
issue is, whoever you got the issue with, I promise you, if you address it with this emotional intelligence, you can sit down, you can have the conversation, and they can say what they want to say. You can gain the understanding from them. You can say what you want to say. They can gain the understanding that they will gain from you, and it won't be this talking at each other. It'll be talking to each
Absolutely.
other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
And
how confrontation should happen.
I gotta just and I'm almost in tears saying it, right? I clown my wife a lot. We clown each other a lot. That's kind of what we do. But when moments like this morning happen, the level of appreciation that I have for her
Yeah,
skyrockets, right? And I've never been in a relationship or a marriage. I've been married before where I also didn't have this arc though, right? And she's had the arc. She we won't let her in the community, but she said, "I'll be damned if y'all not gonna let me work this art."
you're not gonna. Hey, I'm behind the scenes working with it, so you gonna give me something out of it. You gonna give me something out of it. Like Giselle said, I'm going home with something.
Today, the environment, everything was set by a loving wife. Says, "Hey, babe, hard conversation. Let's have it."
I like that. I like that.
And I said, "Okay." And then she asked the question, "Why did we start saying hard conversation?" I said, "Because it gave us an opportunity to brace ourselves
Hmm.
for whatever
Hmm.
was to come."
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And in the middle of the conversation back and forth, and we're telling you, I'm telling you this because I want every couple to know that it's possible. Like you ain't got to argue. Like
hmm,
I'm 55, my wife 52. We ain't got to argue. We ain't got to go through all that. We
yep,
too we yeah we for what? Like so
yeah,
so in the middle of our conversation, this is the beauty, Nodella, of our conversation. I'm checking me, and guess what she's doing? She checking her. She said, "Well,
hmm,
maybe that ain't about you. Maybe that's about me. Maybe there's some ways I need to do A, B, and C." And I said, yeah, I get that, but this is what I need to do. And I'm owning mine, right? And so we're not attacking one another. Each of us are facing ourselves so that we can confront the issue. The issue is the enemy. The issue is the enemy. We ain't the enemy. The issue is the enemy. And we fight shoulder to shoulder against the issue that is at hand. And so I just want to celebrate Lala for being the kind of wife who is growing with me and developing with me. And this was a milestone in our marriage because I used to argue, she used to argue. Y'all think she's sweet. That chick cussed me out just like I cuss her out. I cuss her out, she cussed me out. Then we said, what you want to eat?
Come on, let's go get something to eat.
Let's go get something to eat.
But see, you just gave a master class, bro, on how married couples should be addressing the issues that they have,
Yes.
and even not even beyond marriages, but even just relationships, period.
Yes.
You know, and how we should address them. Because if I'm addressing my issues, you're addressing your issues,
Yes.
then we fix. I
Yes.
believe the problem gets fixed.
Yes.
The
Yes.
issue gets
100%.
the issue gets dealt with.
100%.
Because
100.
it's your, like you said, would you say it's your what side? What's your side of the fence?
Absolutely.
What do I have to deal with on my side of the fence? Because if I deal with my side of the fence, you deal with your side of the fence, then we have a clear understanding of what needs to be what needs to get dealt with, how
Yes.
you deal with it, how I deal with it, and we solve it.
Yeah.
And we come together and we solve it. And we
Yeah.
say, okay, this is how we get through it. This is what we do. Yeah, man. That was yeah, you gave
And
a
here's a
lot today.
here's the deal, bro. You know the arc, right? So on the right hand side of the arc, there's this issue. There's this law of transparency and authenticity. So you
Mhm,
just said something that's just so important, right? It doesn't matter what domain or arena you are addressing. If we're addressing
mhm,
marriage as a husband, the
mhm.
character arc works for that, right? If
Mhm.
you're addressing business, if you're in that
Yep.
domain, the character, everything I'm talking about works in every single domain,
Mhm.
right? And so oftentimes, to your point, which was a brilliant one, it doesn't, what we're talking about today isn't just how my wife and I function. It has to be how a business owner and his team function,
Mhm.
right? It
Mhm.
has to be the courage to confront yourself, your own personal life, confront your finances, open the bills that come, and stop acting like they don't exist. Right there, I used to be the person know that I owed someone. I just put the bill in the drawer. I don't want to see that.
Like if I don't see it, it
Like
don't exist.
if I don't see it, it don't exist. I didn't I didn't get the bill. So somebody said, "Did you get my?" I didn't get the bill, right? Or if my health is failing, confronting the mirror. If I'm getting out of shape, confront the mirror. Confront yourself, right? So when we talk about confrontation, the courage to confront, I'm not just talking about. Leroy just said it so powerfully. I don't want to glance past it. It's not just my marriage with Marla.
Mhm.
It is that, but it's also my business. It's also my working community. It's also my ability to confront politicians. It was my ability to confront my mom when we would have disagreements, and to do so in a way that was loving and honorable and respectful, but I still needed to confront.
Mhm.
So what we're talking about today is grown man shit. Like you've got to be willing to confront the people you love and respect in the same way that you would confront someone that you don't. It's more difficult to confront someone you love and respect because you almost don't feel like you have place to do so. Look, Nodella put her shaking her head like, yeah, no, Nodella, the bill didn't come. I just put
I,
it in the drawer. The bill didn't
I,
come.
don't, I, don't, I don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me, sir. Are your lights on?
Sir, your lights on? No, sir. Okay. Now you got to confront it. Now you got to confront it. Like that. That's the other thing. I'm thank you for that, bro. Because here's the deal. You're gonna have to confront it one way or the other.
For real, for real.
You
For
and
real,
and
for
the
real.
in the unwillingness to confront it in a particular time frame damages the likelihood of recovery. Right? So be willing to confront. Wifey says, and it shouldn't be a complaint session. Let's discuss resolutions too.
Hmm.
And she said to me today, she said, because I want to add to what she's saying. I don't disagree with her, but I want to add to what she's saying. She said it shouldn't be a complaint session. Complaining is good because unless you're willing to complain, like in the court of law, there is a complaint. I'm
Hmm.
bringing a complaint.
Hmm.
And a complaint is simply, this is something I'm dissatisfied with. And it
Hmm.
becomes, again, nomenclature, right? The way we use words, and we've been trained to hear words. So when she says, babe, I'm not complaining, I said, it's okay to complain. It's absolutely okay to complain. I got to know where you are. But she's right. Immediately we turn to resolution. Like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? And so I want to shout out Lala. Um, you know, uh, I'm 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 hard on her when something isn't going well. Um, but I celebrate her when something just goes well. She went really, really well with this particular issue. So Nodella's laughing. Nodella says yes. Yeah. So this has been a great conversation, man. Before
Yeah,
we
no.
before we leave, I'm gonna let you have final comments when we come back. I want everybody to pay attention to this. This is happening this coming Thursday. Yes, this coming Thursday, Remand is having, for those that are business owners, we are having a webinar, a master class on branding. We're having a master class on branding. And so the name of the master class is, let me tell y'all what it is. Uh, Invisible Currency, how to transform brand perception into profit. Invisible currency, how to transform brand perception into profit. It is a free masterclass for every brother that is watching and you own a business. Come inside. You can register. You should have gotten an email while we were on the Grown Man Podcast. It is there in your inbox. If you have not gotten an email, it's because you're not on our email list. I don't want to be on your email list. Forget you then. That's what we used to say back in the day. Forget you then. You ain't all that. Girl, turn you down. Forget you then.
They still do that. They still do that though. These
Right?
dudes ain't having it. These dudes ain't having it this day. They get rejected. Like, forget you then. Oh, I've even seen. I don't know if you've seen the reels where they have the thing, and I'm sure it's acting, but they hold the door open for a woman and she don't say thank you. And one dude held the door open for a lady. She walks through, doesn't say anything, and she was bald headed. So he reaches in it, so the head, and so she looks back out, and he's like, "You welcome."
Right. You
I
walk
was
like
like,
I can't stand that either, man. If I'm being
yeah, that's
kind
rude. To me, that's
and
rude.
or if
Yeah,
I let somebody in front of me, I'm on the road,
yeah,
like, just throw a hand up
yeah,
like, hey man, appreciate you.
yeah. You
But
know,
to ignore the gesture I just gave you, now I do the
yeah.
same thing. Roll up next to you. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all one of the funniest moments I ever had with my mom. Yeah, to know my mom is to love her, right? So Lala met my mom, and my mom very kind, very gentle person. So this is when I knew my mom was getting older and she didn't care anymore. She didn't care whether she was a bishop or nothing, right? So we're in the car, and I think my big sister Janesta's driving. My mom's in the passenger seat. I'm in the back, and somebody cuts her off. And so Janessa's like, Bishop, it's okay. She said, no, it's not okay. And the person rode up beside my mom is like, y'all ain't see me. And so my mom, usually my mom would be calm. My mom said, pull up. Mama, hey Leroy, mama, it was
That
the
mom said, pull up on his
Leroy.
mouth.
My mom said, she rolled down her window, bro, and she said, your mother. Yo,
Oh my
I
God.
was in
I know
tears.
you was done.
I said,
I would
Mom,
bust out laughing too.
she's so frustrated. She said, your mother. I hadn't heard that in years, bro.
I know your sister looking at your mother was like, did she just say that really?
She's like, Bishop. I was like, I was in the floor, bro. My mom had one of those large Mercedes, a S550, right?
Oh
So
wow.
the back seat of it just has so much room. Dude, when she said your mother, I was in tears. I said, Mom, what's wrong? She said, yeah, yeah. Not your mama, your mother. She said it strong, your mother. So for those of you
That's
that, if
that's
you are a
hilarious.
man and you're in business or you're thinking about starting a business, um, Thursday at 3 o'clock p.m., we have a master class run by Levon Lewis and Creative Velocity, his branding firm. When I tell you the brother is bananas expert, he just is, has done work for all of the major Fortune 500 companies, but also has a heart for small businesses. And so, um, those of you that saw my new book cover, we changed it. And so, he is the Remand Project's branding company, and he's going to do a master class on branding, and the called it invisible currency. You got to have your brand. You got to have the ability for your brand to cut through all the noise in the market, right? There's too much noise in the market for your brand not to be strong. And so, if you want to be a part of that master class, just inside the Facebook group, you'll see a Facebook post probably at about 2 o'clock. It'll have the link. You have to register. Registration is free. You have to register to be on stage with Leroy and I and Levon and others. If you want to be on stage, you can. If you just want to watch it inside the community, you can. But in order to ask him some questions, we won't be entertaining questions from the Facebook group. We'll only be entertaining questions from the stage, from those that are on Zoom with us. So, register is for free, but you must register to be a part of the Invisible Currency Masterclass. All right, Leroy, is there anything else we want to talk about, man?
No, just this week, don't brothers, don't be afraid to confront.
Yeah,
You know, don't
yeah,
be afraid to confront those hard
yeah,
conversations. As me and a friend of mine, we used to say, it's like take the gloves off.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes you got to
yeah,
take the gloves off,
yeah,
and it's no hard feelings. It's not where you're
yeah,
bashing each other. It's having that
yeah,
hard conversation.
yeah,
Let's talk
for sure,
about
for sure, for sure. 100%
it.
right, man. 100%. So, hey, listen, y'all, we love y'all. We respect y'all. And we will see you guys real soon. For every brother that wants to be a part of that branding masterclass, Make sure that you are a part of registering, getting on stage, asking the questions that are necessary so that your brand can go to the next level. We'll talk with you guys soon. But before we go, I feel like we should run a commercial.
The Remand Project is a coaching and consulting firm specializing in personal and leadership development for adult Black males, seeking to break the vicious cycle of mispotential so that they themselves transform their personal lives, their sense of leadership to their families, and their legacies that they want to leave for business and culture. We destroy this cycle on two fronts. We confront both the institution and the individual. We address the institution because, according to the statistics, Black males are under assault and are targeted for extinction in ways that their white counterparts are not. We are over-incarcerated and under-educated. There are systems in place, political systems, media systems, and religious systems that serve as intentional, or some say unintentional, barriers to the Black male's advancement. As a result, we work to raise public awareness about issues confronting Black males, promote healthy and positive images about Black males, curate spaces to share information and resources about programs, services, and support for Black males, support knowledge creation and dissemination around these issues, and provide a forum for Black males to both speak and act for themselves. We address the individual Black male because we cannot avoid personal responsibility. We are now overmothered and underfathered. We make bad social choices, and we avoid responsibility for getting ourselves out from under the social plight that we face. We will develop the moral compass and character necessary to face the adverse realities that are faced in everyday life. We live by the premise that even that which is not our fault is still our responsibility. In 2019, we answered the call to transform the culture one man at a time. Our society, our families, and men in particular, are in a state of crisis. And the goal of the Remand Project is to curate the largest, strongest, and dopest community of Black males in the entire world. We then create awareness and action against the institutional and individual impediments that exist against the foundation of our culture and overall society, which is the Black male.